Hey guys, GoodraFTW here, and welcome back to another video where today I want to talk about some places that Capital Games could take us on a raid in the near future or sometime down the line. So just keep in mind, personal opinion, I just think they'd be cool events to cover in this game, and just a few honorable mentions to start off with. And I want to make these honorable mentions because they're already being used in the game in some form or fashion, and using them as a raid might seem a little redundant in a way, but those are going to be Geonosis, because it's already the backdrop for the territory war, or it was for a little bit, and it'll probably be used for a territory war, if not a territory battle in the future, and also Hoth for the same reason. Well, mostly that it's a territory battle venue. But I want to go ahead and start off with saying that a lot of these, or a good portion of these really, I think it'd be really cool to kind of mix ships and just straight up characters. So you have some ship battles, and then you have your regular squad, and kind of mix phases with that. I think that'd be really cool. So in essence, I'd like to start off with the Death Stars. So the original Death Star, I think, would be more geared towards a ship's raid, and not necessarily much to do with the actual characters. Unless you want to count the whole escaping the Death Star that they did before they ever got to Yavin 4. But I think it'd be a good way to kind of make ships more important in the game, and just give us something to do. I mean, everyone's been clamoring for a Death Star raid for a long time now, so I think it'd be a good place to start. Now with the other Death Star, that's where we can kind of get into mixing ships and characters together, and we can do the ship battle, or the ship raid, I guess, the ship part of it, the ship phase. There we go. Do that with the ships, obviously, and then on Endor, and kind of going towards the shield generator as the second, some of the later phases in the raid. But I think that'd be a good mixture there. So sticking with the whole theme of mixing the ships and characters, I think another great place is kind of the space battle over Coruscant in the beginning of episode 3 and rescuing the Chancellor, right? So phase 1, you're going through, you're fighting all the battle droids. Maybe you have to take down the capital ship, the Malevolence, just so you can board it or something, or just dealing with any kind of ship really would be pretty cool. So we have that, and then phase 2 is making your way to the Chancellor. Maybe you have some droidicas in your way or something. And then phase 3 is taking out the B2s before the Chancellor, and then obviously phase 4, the fight against Count Dooku to rescue the Chancellor. I think that would be a really great kind of template they could use. So CG, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, if you want to use that, go ahead. Obviously, they're probably going to come up with something a little better than just fighting droids, but I think that'd be a good way to do it. And another place that they can mix the ships with characters, this is kind of a theme here, is the kind of the last big action set pieces in the end of the Phantom Menace. And I know episode 1 gets a lot of flack for just being kind of weird and introducing some new things and a lot of people didn't like, but the final battles, I think, would make a great place just as a backdrop for a raid. All right, so just think about it. It's the way it's divided is you first start off, all the characters are coming into the hangar and taking over the hangar. So I think that could be kind of your first step, right? So you can take out some droidicas, we're back to that again. But basically clearing the hangar so the pilots can get to their starfighters, and then in comes Darth Maul, right, at the end of the phase, and everyone splits. So you have one phase is the ship battle, where they're trying to take out the Trade Federation capital ships or fleet, just basically the control center for the droids, right? And really, you don't even need to do the hangar split, because you also have the Gungan fight against the droids as well, right? So maybe you're taking down the big the troop transport or whatever, and then you have Padme and her guards basically splitting off to try to retake the throne room, and maybe you could go against Newt Gunray or the Viceroy in that. And then obviously the last phase would have to be the most important of all, which is the fight against Darth Maul. I mean, I just think it's just so cut and dry. Like, why is that not already being planned? You know, it might be because it's just so awesome. I think it'd be a great place to set something, right? So some other places we have, if we're going into the new trilogy, we could do the Assault on Starkiller Base, right? So we have several different things going on, right? So we kind of got a glimpse of in Rey's hero's journey, or heroic journey, whatever they call it, fighting against like Kylo Ren in the snow. That could be probably like the final phase. But you also have, once again, mixing ships. The ships trying to come in and take out the thermal oscillator or whatever it was. And really, I think a great place to start with ships in any kind of fashion is doing the Death Star. I think once they get the Death Star down, they can play around with it, because how they end the Death Star raid is probably going to set an example for how ships raids are going to work, right? Like what your target is and stuff like that. So, but back to Starkiller Base, they could do that. They can also, like, taking out Captain Phasma to capture her would be a pretty decent phase. And then just maybe even fighting Kylo on the long walkway or something, right, in that room. I don't know. Just some ideas that I think would be pretty cool. So another thing we could do is kind of the escape from Cloud City, right? So we've already got like kind of the backdrop of like where Han gets frozen in carbonite in that room there, where we fight Darth Vader, and also out where Luke loses his hand, we could fight Darth Vader there. Several different places we could fight Darth Vader here, right? And then we also have the bounty hunters, right? Because they're coming and trying to, Boba's there to collect Han Solo to take him to Jabba at that point, right? So we have all those different things playing in, right? So they could very easily make several phases out of that. If we go into some of the like spin-offs, I think Scarif in Rogue One would be a great place for a raid, right? Just kind of building up to try to send the signal up to the Rebel ship, right? And I mean, if they really wanted to end on a cool note, they could do the whole like Darth Vader thing. I don't know. Now, I saved this one for last because I think it'd be the coolest, because it'd be a little bit different for how the raids currently are. So as it stands, the Rancor is kind of neutral, but the Rancor, well, I guess technically the Rancor is the most neutral raid we have. But obviously the next two raids are very, you're playing the side of the good guy, taking out the bad guy, or the light side taking out the dark side. Right, so I think we should flip the script in this one, and we have a raid on the Jedi Temple. I think it'd be a great way to introduce a dark side focused raid, and obviously you're taking out you're going to take out like all the Jedi at the temple, right? Just the march up to the temple. I mean, come on, man. Really awesome stuff you could do here, okay? And it'd just be super cool. It'd be a great way to introduce, I already said this, but great way to introduce dark side raids, because the majority of our raids are light side focused at the moment. So I don't know if any of you played the original PlayStation 2 version of the Revenge of the Sith game, but if I recall, they added in some extra Jedi Masters, so you could definitely fight different Jedi Masters through the temple. And it's a deleted scene in Episode 3, but Anakin actually kills the Jedi Master Shaak Ti in the Jedi Temple in the deleted scenes. I think that was supposed to be her canon death, but it eventually got cut when they were editing the film. So maybe that could be your raid reward. Maybe that's like the last phase or something, is defeating Shaak Ti. It'd be a great way to introduce her, right? And really, you could just do Order 66 in general, right? Not necessarily just the Jedi Temple. Maybe the Jedi Temple could be a phase of Order 66. I don't know. Just some really cool ideas I got floating around in my head. So CG, if you need someone to like come and help you out, you know, I'm here. I'm available. I'm ready to go. Fly me out. But that's all I got written down, at least. I'm sure I could come up with some other things. I didn't really visit anything in the Han Solo movie, but maybe the train heist you could do on that, or even like the final set piece on whatever planet they were on, to take out the bad guy. And I don't even own that movie yet, so I don't remember half of anything. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think would be some awesome places to go visit in a raid? Because I mean, I just listed off all kinds of cool things we could do. And I'm not familiar enough with the Old Republic stuff to even do some of that stuff, right? So let me know what you guys think. Maybe we can clue in CG on some of these cool things, give them some ideas. But that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any more Galaxy of Heroes content and other content that I have on my channel. You can go ahead and check some of that out as well, see if there's something you like. And go ahead and follow me on all my social media stuff. That way, if you miss it on YouTube, you at least get it on another social media source. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.